Good, glorious morning, everyone. Welcome to this brand new day. Whenever you're receiving this, if you're on the podcast, we just shared our Seeds of Infinitude animation for the upcoming poetry book. And I'm glad you're with me this morning. I want to welcome you into notice surroundings here, noises. If you're on the video, the visual. What do you see? What do you hear? And I was just sitting here and I'm like, what do I see? And there's a spider. Is he attached to my hat? He just crawled right down on the web right here. Literally right in front of me now. She is crawling up rapidly, realizing this person doesn't belong here. I want you to breathe. You're like, I already am breathing. I want you to notice your breath right now. Don't do anything to it. I want to talk about this. So what I'd like you to do right now, just invite you to breathe gradually through your nose. Like, don't try to change anything, or just other than just breathing in through your nose, maybe breathing out through your nose. We're going to start there, and I'm going to share with you. We'll gradually move into some deep breathing. Intentional, gradual, deep breathing. What does it do? And I love going back to the basics of things because it teaches me every time. It fully oxygenates the blood. Okay, so we know that. We're going to do it here in a moment. But for right now, just breathe through your nose. But as you start to deepen the breath, what happens is the oxygen goes down deeper into the lungs, and it fully oxygenates the blood, which creates that carbon dioxide exchange. Your heart rate gradually lowers, so you don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about that happening. It's the byproduct or the fruit of the deep breathing. It stabilizes your blood pressure. It stabilizes your blood pressure. Think about how many people have struggled with high blood pressure. This spider's back again. It stabilizes your blood pressure, at least in that moment, right? There's, of course, some people have a bigger or overarching challenge with health with blood pressure, but for this example, deep breathing stabilizes your blood pressure. It lowers your stress levels. And this is a really interesting fact here. Through the olfactory process, I guess I'm just paraphrasing, it activates the hippocampal rhythms that are involved in memory process. So imagine you're trying to remember something, right? And if you just pause and breathe, you get all the benefits of what we're talking about here: fully oxygenating the blood, lowering the heart rate, stabilizing the blood pressure, lowering stress. But you may get the benefit of remembering something. And a lot of times, what will happen with people who sit and pause and breathe, like without any agenda, they just are in the process of the pause and breathe. You might have something kind of rise up from the past. You remember, morning, you might have something that you remember from the past. And this process is interesting. So I just want to invite you now. Let's do that. Let's take this opportunity. If you're on the podcast and you're doing something, right? You're driving or you're busy or whatever. Just just do what you can, right? You don't, if you need to keep your eyes open, keep your eyes open. If you want to close your eyes and just find that breath through the nose, in through the nose, and whatever feels comfortable. If you want to breathe out through the mouth, do that. If you want to breathe out through the nose, and just notice the breath. And I want to invite you to gradually deepen that breath. And as you're doing this, just simply notice. See if you can just notice what's happening without trying to evaluate it or judge it. Just notice. Notice the deepening of the breath. Notice the belly expanding. Notice what's happening in the body. Simply notice it. And maybe a thought does rise up from out of nowhere. Just go, okay, just let it go. And what's happening, each breath, each deepening breath, air going down to the bottom of the lungs, belly expanding, calm, heart rate lower, blood pressure stabilized, stress gradually declines, dissolves. You feel maybe certain sensations in the body. It's a beautiful process of calm. Maybe hear the slight breeze that's around me coming across on the mic. Birds chirping. I had some bumblebees buzzing around me, the birds. As we come back to this opening of the eyes or back here to wind this process down, just notice what showed up for you. There's usually some kind of a fruit of something that showed up. And if it's a feeling of calm, that's beautiful. And, you know, typically we're thinking about calm, I got to get there. But if you just focus on this in breath through the nose, gradual deepening, intentional, gradual deepening of the breath. Calm is the fruit of that. You didn't have to get there, it gradually happens. Welcome to this moment. Welcome to the dulcet melodies of the birds singing. It's a great word, by the way. Dulcet. Beautiful sounds, noises. And you can hear that here. Maybe your heart is longing this morning. I had reflection today I'll share with you on that. The heart longs, right? And what I wrote down is turn that longing of the heart, turn that longing of the heart into a letting go. For it is in the letting go that we have a chance to be filled up again. For it is in the letting go that we have a chance to be filled up again. So if your heart is longing this morning, what would it look like to let it go? And in that letting go, you afford yourself the opportunity to be filled up again with life. So I'm going to share something with you to kick us off here. This was from earlier this week. Here we go. Beautiful quote by Walt Whitman. Happiness, knowledge, not in another place, but this place, not in another time, but now, paraphrasing. And that if you're on the podcast, that's what the quote was. You can look it up, but it's just reminder that life is always happening now. And as we age, we certainly have more memories, right? Our memory banks fill up. There's more memories. And as we age, we might worry about more. We might be worrying about our children. We might be worrying about our finances, our situation. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this show is because for me, there's just this experience of these, I call them micro moments where life is just full. And I'm not rooted in a memory of a mistake that I made. And I'm not worrying about the future. And like the show opened up and there's a spider in front of my eye. And, you've heard it before. It's the little things that are the big things. And while everybody's heard that quote, we've heard live in the moment, we've heard it's the little things that are big things, we still can get lost in the noise. We still can lose ourselves in the narrative of life, in the narrative of many thoughts in our head that really aren't even ours. And so what's the truth this morning? What's the truth? I'm going to share a beautiful quote from Henry David Thoreau. And by the way, Henry David Thoreau's birthday is next week. It's July 12th. My plan is to travel up to Walden, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to have some footage for you. I invite you to follow my YouTube channel. Just look up YouTube, go at Austin J. Haynes. I'm calling this my midlife oasis. Typically we have a midlife crisis, right? People say, oh, it's a crisis, but it's a midlife oasis. It's a beautiful opportunity to get in touch with who you really are and live from that place. And that's what I want for you. And so maybe you are thinking about like this. And by the way, midlife could be 30, it could be 70. Like it just depends on the person because we're all on a journey. And sometimes people are trapped in the past. Sometimes they're, again, worried about the future. And that's why I have this show and I'm bringing it to you today. And so I always invite you to notice the pauses. What's happening maybe in my surroundings here, what's happening in your surroundings, just taking these opportunities to notice. And I'm going to share here in a moment, I'm going to share a beautiful quote from Henry David Thoreau. I think it's going to touch you. It's going to touch you. And what's the truth for you in this moment? Good morning, Mandy. I'm seeing your comments this morning. There was a spider on my wall by the handrail on the stairs last night. I usually catch him outside. I'm too tired. He was gone in the morning. I had one in my house that was running loose too. So what's true for you this morning? And let me let you know where I am, and then I'll share the Henry David Thoreau and have a couple other things to share. This is, I've been here before. This is Boundary Creek Natural Preserve. It's becoming one of my favorite locations. I've done shows here along the water. Today I'm out here, just a little meadow area, and just a beautiful backdrop of nature. There's a lot of wildlife here. Of course, there's always deer. There's a rich wildlife of birds and all kinds of different things. And maybe we'll see something today behind here. Oh, we saw a leaf fall. So there's some leaves falling already. You know, it's like just beautiful. What's true? What's true for you? What's true for your surroundings today? I'm going to share a Henry David Thoreau quote. I'm going to share a poem. It's a new poem. Just wrote it. Let me share this. This really spoke to me today. And so whatever your heart, it kind of goes in line. So typically what happens is I'll have a divine download, and then I'll read from this book, and it's in sync typically. So whatever your heart's longing for, let it go. It's in the letting go that you give yourself the opportunity to be filled up again. So July 9th from this book, Self-Reliant Entrepreneur, it's called Learn to Struggle, and he's quoting Henry David Thoreau. And here it is. If I wished to see a mountain or other scenery under the most favorable auspices, I would go to it in foul weather, so as to be there when it cleared up. We are then in the most suitable mood, and nature is most fresh and inspiring. There is no serenity so fair as that which is just established in a tearful eye. Wow. And I might as well share the rest of this. This is great. There's a lyric in a Bob Dylan song called Brownsville Girl that adds color to this idea. Strange how people who suffer together have stronger connections than people who are most content. And then I won't read the rest of it, but he goes on to say, who do you want to be right now? Who do you want to be right now? I think that's a great question. And what does that elicit for you? Who do you want to be right now? In this moment, this season of life, as it unfolds. Seeds of Infinitude coming out this year. And Mandy, since you're on here, thank you for inspiring me with your poetry and your book, Catalyst Poetry. And this is a poem. I don't know if this is going to go in the book, but it's a poem I wrote, and I'm going to share it with you right now. Ever running on the rails of mind and thought, my time ceaselessly sold and bought. This endless cycle is all I'm seeing. Am I a human doing or a human being? I feel like I've learned my lessons. Now I crave
pure presence. Oh, let this moment magnify. I'm free to laugh and I'm free to cry. The moment passes, it cannot be saved. My true self is what I longingly craved. My authenticity discovered. I am saved.
How many times do we feel like a human doing, where we feel like we're just on the rails? Life is moving by. Talk to any person who's aging and older, they'll tell you how fast it went. The greatest truths, the greatest secrets lay hidden in plain sight for all to see who are ready to see. It's the seemingly insignificant things that become the most significant. The present moment, as it unfolds, is a beautiful thing. Live in the moment. Don't just make it a beautiful or a cute phrase, I should say. And is it something that you can integrate more into your life? See, with this video, I don't know who's going to get it, and I don't know where or when they're going to get it, but I trust it'll reach somebody who has been overthinking and stressed. And my silent prayer is that this show becomes a flicker, a beacon of light, of hope for you to live more in the moment, to understand that there is no someday. It's today. So what I want to do is I'm going to add a little experience for you. I'm going to take a little walk a little bit as we close the show out. We'll do something different. We'll hold out as long as we can. I'm going to just give a shout out to our sponsor here. We have Duchess DJ Love's been a sponsor of the show from the very beginning. She has a book called Traveltude. Her brand is Gallivanting Like a Royal. As you know, I like to travel as well, and travel and going to places like Boundary Creek. It's a great way to open up. And the reason why I go to these places that are local to me is because you may say, oh, I want to travel more. But why don't you start locally? There's so many things I've uncovered local to me that I didn't know were there. And it continues to happen as I explore my own surroundings. So become curious about your own surroundings, and then more will open up for you, and you'll find more, discover more, so that when you do travel, you're already warmed up and prepped. All right, let's see if I can do this. I need to remove myself from the screen so we can show. Okay, well, if I can't, because I'm on the phone here today, but let's see, I think we can do it. Okay. All right, so we'll have to share that in the chat if you can look for it there. For some reason, I can't seem to pull it up. Got lots of leaves falling here next to me. I'll take you on a little walk here in a moment. All right, let's go over here. And always open to your comments. So if you want to throw a comment in, feel free to do that. I've done this before. All right, let's try this. A little different view for you. Okay, it doesn't look like it's going to work. So I'm going to invite you to go to look up Gallivanting Like a Royal on Facebook. And DJ has a show every Sunday night. You can check that out for sure. For right now, I'm just going to take a little walk around here. If you're on the podcast, this is a beautiful nature preserve, and right now I'm kind of in this little bed here with a couple trees and bushes, and then behind me is a beautiful meadow, but then there's also some trees also scattered throughout in the back. You can hear the birds chirping. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. Great place here. So let's see if we can get up and take you on a little walk as we close out the show. And I just want to invite you to follow along. Go to YouTube. Best place is to go to YouTube right now at Austin J. Haynes, AUSTIN JHAINES. And you can follow along there. And I guess one of the main goals of this show is for you to live life fully now. What does that look like for you? And also to integrate presence into your day. And maybe you make it a practice that every moment you feel you become acutely aware that you're stressed or you're not, or you're worried about the future or you're in the past. Make it a practice to just pause and take one breath. And then maybe that'll follow with more deep breathing, whatever it is for you. But just if you can just grab these, I call them micro moments. That is the key. That's the door, really. But most people will miss it. I don't know where else to start but small. Every great movement, every great idea usually starts with something small. And that's, if you think about the book here, let me show it again. It's a seed. It's a seed. Small seed. Every small seed has the potential to manifest and come to fruition. Fruition. Think about fruition. All right, let's take a walk. If you're on the podcast, I'm going to take a walk here. There's beautiful, beautiful groomed trails here. Just give you a little bit of lay of the land here. So while the signal holds out. So you got this part area here, beautifully groomed, great parking. There's a gazebo on the other side, and you can see some of the greenery is marked. This is pollinators, and then you can scan. They tell you all about it. You can see like these pollinators. It looks like they've already had their day, and then you got these. So you got this blend of like groomed area and then natural area, and then this beautiful groomed trail runs through. So if you're on the podcast, I know you can't see this. I invite you to come over to the video because I'm going to have some moments of pauses here as we walk, and hopefully the signal is holding out. Looks like it is. So I'll do my best to get you to the water if the signal holds out. See if you can take a deep breath through your nose. Give yourself a gift of pausing. You don't get to do it too often when your days and weeks get busy. Let's go this way. You can hear the beautiful surroundings. Just really love this place. We got these nice wooden boardwalks. Take you out to the kind of the marsh area, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to get to the water. Ooh, this is a good one too. This is the walkout where they have this extra piece here, which we'll walk through. Look at this beautiful boardwalk. Really well constructed. Cuts right through. Oh, a little quick movement there. I'm really glad I did this, and hopefully the signal's good. Got a couple dragonflies. This is part of the Rancocas Creek here. 360 for you. So it came from that section. I'm thinking this is low tide. Very calm and relaxing here. Let me know if the signal's coming across. You've been overthinking, living in your head. And there's a language spoken here that only the heart can understand. So stop trying to find the answers in your head and lean into trust something greater than yourself. Dancing. Beautiful. And the show right here. And actually, we'll get this nice little flowers in the background. There you go. I want to thank you for being here today. If you're getting this on the playback, feel free to comment. If you're in the podcast, highly encourage you to check out the video. It's really powerful. I love this little moments of pause the ability to be still and not really trying to get anywhere, just allowing life to unfold and learning to trust yourself more, learning to trust your creator more, and let that natural occurrence happen. Have a great day, everyone. Find time to pause and breathe today. Breathe through the nose, like we talked about in the beginning of the show. Just recall even one benefit of that deep breathing, and maybe you'll discover more. Find the micro moments. Trust that something powerful can happen in the tear of life, that tear that wells up in your eye, that tear, metaphorical metaphor for life, that something beautiful happens. If we can open up to that present moment, something beautiful can happen after. I'll see you next week when we continue with poetry and presence. And I expect to have something from Walden, where Henry David Thoreau did much of his writing. He lived there for 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days, I believe. A trifecta of twos. So see what I can uncover in that location. And I'll see you then. Bye for now, everyone. God bless.